Welcome to the KM Builders Remodeling and Design Show. I'm Keith Moehle, and along with Morgan.
Hello, everybody.
We're glad to have you this Saturday, and we would love to have you join the show. If you'd like, you can call us at 737-1200 or 1-800-383-WOAI. Again, that local number is 737-1200. If you have a question about anything in construction or remodeling, we've got the experience and the answers for you. And you can also view us live, right, Morgan?
Yep, you can view us live on Facebook at KM Builders 1 or on Instagram at KM Builders, and YouTube, just search KM Builders. You can really just search KM Builders on any of them and you can find us.
Yes, thank you. And so a lot of y'all have joined us live, and sometimes we have extra things going on in between the commercial breaks, and you can listen in to us live there. And today we want to talk about some of the things that are kind of popular. They're even on commercials. We're going to talk about she sheds and man caves and specialty rooms, and maybe expand your horizons on what you could do with a little extra room outside. And it's nice too because you can do them progressively. You don't have to do them all at once. Since it's not inside your home, you can kind of build these things out and make them more grand each year. And so we want to make sure that we give you a chance to chime in, though, at 737-1200. If you have any questions, be sure and give us a call. If you'd like to know more about the remodeling process, we talk a little bit about that, and we also talk about a lane contractor of the week.
Yeah.
And I am going to take you up on it, Morgan. You want to talk a little bit about it?
Yeah, I actually saw this on the news, I think it was last week, and this woman whose husband is a veteran, and he is now basically, he can't see or speak or anything, and he needs a special oxygen that gives him, an oxygen machine that gives him energy. And it was, when she would plug in the oxygen machine, the power would go out in her house. So she was really frustrated, couldn't get help with it. They were blaming the oxygen machine.
On the breaker stripping, yeah.
Yeah. And she said that after she called the troubleshooters, then they came out and they fixed the problem. So that was really good, but it took a while.
It took a while to get involved, and so the point is keep working with your client, even if you're a home builder like this one was. Mm-hmm. You want to, and it is a local home builder. So even if it is a home builder, you've got. I mean, you would think that if a little company like ours, I mean, relatively speaking, compared to some of these home builders. If we can take it and stay with it until it's done, and sometimes it is painful for a builder. Sometimes things are just weird. Mm-hmm. We've had breaker problems too, and we just have to stick with it. But no one's ever said that we didn't care or felt like we didn't care. So we all have to have patience in these things. And of course, if a person's really dependent on it like that, you don't wait around like they did until the troubleshooters get involved. Yeah. A man's life and health is involved. They buy a home. You would think that you could plug in an oxygen machine as long as it didn't exceed the amperage for that wiring device, for that outlet. Mm-hmm. And it didn't. So it's a sad thing when people don't take care of them. And just every time we think about this, we think about making sure you're choosing a builder or remodeler that really cares about you and doing your research up front. So we remind you again to do that. And let's talk a little bit about what opportunities are coming up with the change in seasons. We've only got 1 month left technically in summer, and then we start fall.
Yes,
and
so excited.
Yeah, so the average temperature for next month will be about 3 or 4 degrees lower. And then, of course, the next month after that, it drops about another 4 to 5 degrees lower. And before we know it, it'll actually feel like fall here. And fall here is kind of as
kind of laughable.
Well, it's a mild summer in some parts of the world, but everywhere you look, they do have some hot days, even in the 100 degrees. Even in New York, where Lexus is at, mm-hmm. It gets hot up there too.
Yeah, she was complaining.
But it does get hot up there. So,
yep.
But fall here can lead to the need for greenhouses, and especially when you're getting less sunshine, and so that is a specialty room, a greenhouse. And some people don't really want the greenhouse for plants. They want it for themselves. They want more light. Maybe a sunroom is what it is. Now, I always called sunrooms, some of these bolt-on types that you see, I always called them Texas ovens.
Yeah.
And so you have to be careful what you're buying and where you're putting it, the location. In San Antonio, if you build an all glass room, it needs to be in the shade.
Yes,
And
definitely.
you'll get nice reflected light into that room, but you don't put an all glass room right directly in the sun, especially if it has glass panels on the ceiling. So that is something that you'd want to take into consideration. And one of the things you can do in that is make sure it's air conditioned. If you're gonna ever wanna be in there and you just glass it all up, now if you just want it for plants, you need to have windows that open. Some people will do these things with plastic, or they'll do them with windows that do not open, and that's not very good in San Antonio, because you're only gonna be able to keep your plants in there during the really, really cold months, and you're gonna have to take everything out. And you'd really like a little more of a transition period, getting things in there when it's not quite so cold, and then your plants will still survive. They're not gonna die from the heat. So you need windows that open if you're going to have a greenhouse, true greenhouse here, because otherwise you'd use it so little, it'd be a waste of time.
Yeah.
So.
What about having shades in it?
Yeah, you can, but typically if you don't have it air conditioned, these things are gonna get pretty humid, and yeah, you can spend a little more money on shades and things too, but best just to have windows. The plants will do fine if you've got the right kind of plants in there. They're gonna do fine. Now you can do all kinds of shade trellises and things that can, build those internally, so section it. But what a lot of people like is to have really kind of an atrium where they're sitting in it. That's,
yeah.
And those are more what we build. We build specialty rooms that people live in, not that plants live in. So.
Or to be comfortable while you're gardening.
Yeah, you could have your garden areas in there. You could actually be comfortable. You could put a mini split air conditioning system in there, and that would actually be fun to be in. And you could sip some tea while you're in there, do some book reading. I can imagine a lot of ladies really enjoying to get out there with their beautiful plants. I know my wife would love that, if she could have her plants all year long right at her disposal and keep them surviving. And if I speak too loudly about this, she might be asking me to build one. So I'm gonna have to change subjects before she tunes back in. But yeah, so these specialty rooms can be a lot of fun. We hear on the TV, about she sheds.
Oh yeah, that's the joke, right? She can get a she or a she shed.
Yeah, and so she sheds can be just anything you want. They can have that little reclusive area where a person could enjoy the backyard beauty. And I think that's one of the things that comes to my mind first when you're building outdoor specialty buildings, is you want something that's in the middle of a serene location. And we can do a lot of little cute things in our yards, but how often do we get to go out there?
Especially in Texas, when it's so hot.
In San Antonio, it is really hot, and so we if you would like to get that, even if you had a little pond, maybe some fish or some beautiful plants, maybe tropical plants, then you could actually be right in the middle of it. Bring some of those into a glassed-in area, have them on the edge, have them outside of that glassed-in area, but be able to just be right in the middle of it with a beautiful little specialty room. Now we've done these, and there's a lot of them that come to mind, and so as we talk, we're going to try to expand your horizons on what you think of when you think of a specialty building. We're going to start in the backyard, and when we get back, we're going to talk about some modifications and some really cool things that you can do with a specialty building in your backyard, and then we'll talk about other places too when we come back to the KM Builders Remodeling and Design Show.
And now,
Oh, the Baylor game?
Huh?
The Baylor game?
What about it?
It's on the anniversary party. So we need to ask for a different game. It was okay, the Texas State one's the one that I really wanted to go
Well,
to.
well, we can just give those to the team. I'm only gonna go to one anyway, and a lot of people wanna go to the Baylor.
Okay, that's a good idea then. Give them to them.
We need to announce that soon.
Yeah,
What's
But
the,
I
what's
want-
the date?
I
What's the
want-
date of the other party that we can't say?
it's on the 8th.
Okay. Wait a minute,
It's on the 8th.
that's the Home and Garden Show,
No,
right?
it's not. The Home and Garden Show is the 14th.
Oh, okay.
And then the week after that is the Texas State game, which I really want, is the one that I want to go to anyways, so.
What time?
What?
What time is the Texas State game?
It's at 6. But remember, they do all that tailgating. And Gabrielle said that that's their,
Rival?
yeah, she said that they went to it last year and it was so much fun, she said. Because her sister goes to UTSA.
Do you wanna, does she wanna go?
She said they already have tickets.
Mhm.
Because they get to sit with the students. So they get just, different type of tickets. So, and talk about them being an entertaining spot.
Mm-hmm.
It was so funny what you said, because this article about the greenhouses, I looked at the end of it, and it said, I have sad news for readers living in American South.
Mhm.
Not a good idea. Less potential to turn into a tiny glass oven.
Oh, if you do what he says, it'll be that all the charm with less,
Yeah.
uh-huh.
That's funny.
So he said you gotta do some things to avoid the potential of a tiny oven.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't driven the Hellcat in a couple of weeks.
Why?
Cause I've been busy. And then Mom went with
Oh,
me.
but you're
last
driving
week.
it today.
Huh?
You're driving it now.
Yeah, it was nice to get it out. Got the tires aired up and got it fueled up and cleaned it up a little bit. It's been sitting outside with a car cover on it.
Oh.
And the car cover
Oh,
got
yeah.
dirty, so I washed the car cover while it was on it and let it dry while I was doing other stuff. Cause it had stains all over it, and I cleaned it up with some 409 and then rinsed it off while I was on the car.
You should use Shout. It's cloth.
I bet that worked good, huh?
Mm-hmm.
You don't think 409 works as good?
Well, we stopped using 409 because we would breathe it in and it was like, whew.
Welcome back to the KM Builders Remodeling Design Show. I'm Keith Moehle, and along with Morgan Moehle Roberts, and we are talking about outdoor specialty rooms. And if you'd like to join the show, join us at 737-1200 or 1-800-383-WOAI. And let's go ahead and get started with something that we started a while back. We just like to share something that happens to us during the week, some of the fun that we get during the week, and that is all these great calls and messages and text messages that we get, and I get to see a lot of those firsthand. But we want to share at least one with you every week. We do get a bunch of them, and we just love our job. Go ahead, Morgan.
So this one's an email, and it said, "Hi Marcia, thanks for the recommendation for Larry Villarreal from Avco. He came out yesterday to look at our foundation, and he was fantastic. We thought our foundation was in pretty good shape considering the age of the house. He's going to provide an estimate, but he said that he doesn't think it's anything too critical. Sure took a load off my mind. And just another quick compliment on the gentleman who came out for HVAC. I like him a lot and have a lot of confidence in him as well. Of course, the whole KM Builders team is fantastic, and we have been very impressed from minute one with everyone."
Well, that's great. He had a lot of bases on that. So kudos to Larry, and he did what I always know that he will do. He'll tell people the truth, even if it doesn't need much work. He's going to say, you could, but it didn't need to. He incidentally went to another client too. Larry was on the show not too long ago, and he went to another client and told her she did not need foundation work, and she had ranges from, I think, around 8,000 to 15, 16, 20,000. I think the lowest one was just a little below 10. And I told her, I said, I cannot see the need for it just for me walking it, but you need to talk to somebody who's in that business. He'll be glad to fix it for you if you want and do it right. Well, he told her the same thing, so I think she said she's gonna put the money into remodeling her home, which I said, we contract out floor leveling. We contract that out with part of our job, so we can take your money either way, but I don't think you need it. And sure enough, he verified what I said. And so Larry got a good kudo there, and also John Magnetet at Classic Air was the other one that was referred to.
Nice.
And Classic Air is one of our subcontractors along with Legacy Air Conditioning. Both of these gentlemen do just great jobs running their company and keeping prices low, so we feel very comfortable recommending them to you. And
I also wanted to mention, before we forget, that we're live on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, so just search for us at KM Builders, and you can see us live.
And thank you for mentioning that. Also want to mention about air conditioning, since it came up, is that if you need air conditioning, you should definitely contact KM Builders, because we have a special buying opportunity through the Custom Builders USA, which is a nationwide buying co-op that we're part of. And what we know is that we can buy certain air conditioning like Lennox at a price lower than the large air conditioning companies can buy it for. But it's only if we're working through this nationwide buying co-op. And so I drove up on a job a couple of months ago, and they were actually, you could see someone was looking at air conditioning, and I asked the wife, I said, is your husband going to sign a contract with that company today? And she said, I don't think so. And I said, well, make sure he doesn't, because I need to get my guy out here to talk to you. And John went over there and saved them a couple of $1,000s.
Oh, wow.
Just by using the Lennox brand, and was able to do a top-notch job. They were very happy with that. So air conditioning, don't be afraid to give us a call. If we go through us, you get a super discount, and you're not going to be able to beat that price anywhere. It's part of what we offer at KM Builders, and we can do just about anything that you need done in your home. And sometimes I'm disappointed because other people call. Some of our repeat happy clients actually call other people to do parts of their home. So, for the record, I've seen people call a window company to get windows. When we do that, we're actually dealers for windows, and get great pricing on great windows, no guard. And then we also do siding, so sometimes I've seen that. I've also seen them do
Patio
roofs.
covers.
Roofs also, and then we tell them, hey, we do roofs, but we give you a longer warranty. And they're amazed, and they forget, or they don't think about it. And so we're trying to do a better job. Morgan puts out a newsletter to all of our clients, and if you'd like to get on that newsletter to learn a lot about what we do, and we give great tips, then you go to...
You just email us at friends@kmbuilders.com, or if you go to our website, you can just scroll to the bottom, and it'll say join our newsletter.
So it is worth it to know what we do. And the reason is, it's just like I said with the air conditioning, we are in a special buying co-op opportunity. And Hardy Plank, we actually get a special rebate from Hardy. We had Scott on there last week talking about Hardy Plank. Well, I think we forgot to mention that we are in a special buying program.
I don't think we said that.
No, last week I think we completely forgot to say that. So if you think, well, what's the difference? We'll just call somebody else. We talked about the fact that we do everything as being one of the reasons you'd like to contact us. And, if you're doing Hardy Plank on your house, but you want a she shed or you want a man cave, well, they don't do that, but we do. But not only that, we have a special buying opportunity through the nationwide buying program through CBUSA, Custom Builders USA. You can look them up, look up CBUSA, and you'll see why we're so proud of the fact that we're in it. There's only 20 builders in the San Antonio area and New Braunfels area, Bernie, New Braunfels, and San Antonio. There's only 20 of us in this program. And some of these guys do a lot of homes, but they're big homes, they're custom homes. And then we've got 2 guys that do remodeling, me and Brian Smith, and Brian Smith does a lot of custom homes also. We're the largest in the remodeling guys that are in there. We do a few custom homes, but very few. And so it's really cool that we're a part of this. We're only 20 people in this whole big area that we're talking about from here to San Marcos are in this thing. And of course, any of the other counties around us. But this has actually given us a superior buying pricing on a lot of things, like we said, hardy plank, sheetrock, concrete services, concrete
Even lumber,
products,
right?
lumber. Oh yeah, lumber. I should mention that. McCoy's has been winning the bid lately, and we've been saving 15% from what we would pay if we were not part of this buying co-op.
Wow.
So it's really big. We spend $1 million to $1.5 million every 90 days on lumber between us.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's a pretty big amount of money, and it's a pretty big savings that we're getting off of it.
And that savings is translated then into the pricing that we give the client.
Right, so there's a lot of reasons to call KM Builders, in addition to the fact that we are dealers direct to the manufacturers for many products, just like we said, Milgard, Master Brand Cabinetry, the largest manufacturer of cabinets in the world. We're in El Dorado
Some
Stone.
flooring.
In flooring, all kinds of flooring and tile. El Dorado Stone, if you want to buy it here in South Texas, you buy it through KM Builders, because we are their dealer. But back to she sheds and specialty things. These nice outdoor areas can start off as maybe a deck, a patio cover,
A pool house.
a pool house, yes. And if you build those in that way, you can do them. You can go a lot of different levels. If you just want to get a cover and a place to park your furniture on, to park yourself, well then that's the start. But if you want to close it in later and add air conditioning, add more windows, maybe add a bar, maybe you do your outdoor kitchen first, and then you start enclosing it. You start putting better features on the flooring. You start adding a little air conditioner in there, and then you can open it or close it. You could have these beautiful glass overhead doors. I really love the overhead doors that are all glass, and whenever you want
Looks like a restaurant.
You've seen the restaurants that have that, and it looks really cool on an outdoor building, because when you close it, it kind of gives that urban loft effect.
Yeah.
But whenever it's open, it just feels like you didn't have anything in your way. You don't even notice that there was a door there. Because there's nothing on the sides. From the outside, it looks just like it never was closed. And so that's a really cool way to do it. And those doors are not as expensive as some other door systems.
Really?
Yeah, but the door systems that slide open and that have all these features are usually a lot more. So you can do solid glass with metal rails, and it gives you that outdoor feeling right inside. It's easy to air condition. You can put the seals on those doors. It'll be fine. And maybe then again, also try to face the shade with it, but because you're going to get a really nice feel. But later on, you could put that pool table in there. You can do, what else do people like to do
Well,
in
I
there?
think if you do something like that with the glass, it's perfect for having like a bar area so people can be inside but outside. A lot of people, when they have people over, they don't like to have them come inside their house and get it messy.
That's
or
right.
if you have teenagers, stay outside and stay in that little area as well. So you can put a bathroom.
That's right. Later on, you can have a bathroom. We could stub that up for you. You could do it right now. But if you, even if you didn't have the air conditioner, just being able to close that off from the elements is really nice. If you just drop that big garage door and now you're closed, you could have 2 or 3. You could have 3 sides or even 4 sides with garage doors that all open up. And that is a really cool design, because you get that cross ventilation, and then you can close it all up.
And then you don't even have to turn the AC on if you have the cross ventilation.
That's
sometimes.
right. That's right. Just have some nice ceiling fans in there. So if you're thinking about one, give us a call, 680-5626, or look us up at kmbuilders.com. I will come out personally and give you a free assessment and consultation. But we'll talk more about specialty outdoor rooms when we come back to the KM Builders Remodeling and Design Show.
This is News Radio 1200 WOAI, San Antonio, an iHeart radio station.
I'm Morgan.
I was thinking about the Airbnb, because you could turn it into an actual money. We could also talk about the basement that we did.
Let me check on the Hellcat and see if I parked it right.
I don't think you did.
Huh?
I don't think you did.
I think I did. The shade is supposed to move over it.
Oh, that's what you're meaning. I'm like, you
Yeah.
parked weird.
Yeah, it's still over the windshield. Still got shade on the windshield. I did good. Could have done a little better. Pulled up a little further. I was trying to calculate how much it would move.
I was wondering why you parked that way.
Somebody's been putting their nose on the wall. Or their head. Probably their forehead. He's got a Mustang. I wonder if he'd like to race. It's kind of like my sundial. That
Sign?
Yeah. I should park over there where it's real dense. Look how dense it
Yeah.
is over there. So we'll start doing Sergeant Clutch.
Jeez. give you money.
So I was working around the house, cleaned up the Hellcat a little bit, did the car cover. It's been out on it for a while because I haven't had it in the back garage. And then did the yard. Also sprayed,
Did y'all have to move
sprayed
the
bleach,
couches?
sprayed bleach everywhere where the dog pees. You
Y'all
know,
have to move-
you know, you
yes.
can tell where a dog pees. Spray bleach on places, and if it foams up, then that's where he's been peeing.
Oh, nasty.
And so you can stop spraying where it doesn't foam. But it completely neutralizes that ammonia. And then spray it off and it's good.
That's good.
Yeah, completely. And then what I do is go and spray everything and then start going back and rinsing it. And then it's all smelling fresh.
Phillies.
I like that one better. That's more my style. So, we are back. KM Builders Remodeling and Design Show. And we call it that because that's what we do and that's what we talk about. And we've been doing that for 15 years, since 2003. And we are not syndicated, we're here local only. We've never really tried to get big. I don't think I want to do that, but we do like serving our audience. It's for the purpose of serving San Antonio. We know that a lot of people outside of San Antonio listen to WAI. We're glad to have you as listeners too, and hopefully some of these things inspire you. And you never know how far. Yeah, you never know how far we might go to help you out too, as far as doing your project for you. Don't be afraid to give us a call. We'll tell you if it's too far out. A lot of times, how far out we go is determined by how large the project is. We can go further for larger projects. The larger the project, the further we can travel. It makes economic sense for us to do that, but not if it's too small. We can't do that. But we do have a 40-person staff, and we do some smaller projects regularly. Small is a relative term, but we've been known to do projects under 10,000 and sometimes even under 5,000, especially for repeat clients. So if you have any needs in the remodeling industry, business, construction, whatever it is, anything in a house, basically we can do it. And we'd like to give us, you to give us an opportunity to do that. I go out and meet every person myself, almost without exception, but there are a few exceptions. Scott can meet someone when it comes to hardy plank siding, or any type of siding for that matter, and he can go out there and meet you on his own on those type of projects. But I try to go with him, even then I try to go with him. But our first sponsor, segment of this second half of after the news break is trending. What's trending with Morgan?
Yes, so when I say this, it might sound a little ridiculous, but the newest trend is double kitchen islands. And you think about it and it's like, okay, that seems stupid, but the kitchen islands that we've been seeing in really big kitchens are humongous.
I mean, very, very large.
Like, you cannot reach the middle of it. So people are seeing that as being a waste of space. And imagine if you forget something on the other side of the kitchen, then you have to walk around that huge thing. So they're doing double islands. So maybe an island will be right in front of your cook space so you can turn around and use that as a prep space. But along the side, you have an island that's more used as a bar with seating, and people are sitting there. And the houses are open concept, so there's a lack of a dining room and a sitting area. So we're needing more space, more seating areas, gathering spaces.
And those are a lot softer ways to divide rooms too.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're not doing it with an overhead structure or
A wall.
a wall or a header or something, a structural beam that comes across. And so this really open concept is great, but you do need sometimes you need more things to put cabinets on, or store things on, or serve people.
where you're gonna put the wine fridge or the dishwasher.
Mhm.
So it kind of gives you more options for that.
Yeah.
And especially in different colors, I'm seeing them, so they don't just look like same all over the place. It really breaks up the space. And then in the article it said, okay, but if we can find an airport size hangar house to put this in, then let us live there. Because it does require a very large space to do that in.
Relatively, it depends on how big your islands are. But
Yes.
yeah, but even in smaller spaces, sometimes 2 islands are better. And sometimes it's peninsula that's attached to a wall,
Mhm.
and that can work as that second quote unquote island. But those are really, really good ideas, and don't be afraid to open up and spread out to the rest of the home. Leave it all open to the rest of the areas, because you can do things like islands that get some of that storage back and some of that seating back, and keep that wonderful, warm, friendly openness.
Mhm.
And that is the number one thing we see changing in homes, is those common areas are all open. You really need to think about doing that to your home. So we're talking about specialty outdoor rooms. Of course, there's all kinds of specialty indoor rooms too, but whenever people want to do an outdoor room, it has certain advantages. If you'd like to call us at the show here, it's 737-1200, and we'll take your call or question. But these specialty rooms have a real advantage. The first thing I think of is cost. They don't have to be built exactly like the home. The homeowners association will have less restrictions on you, and some of the things they don't care about at all, such as what is the floor made out of. You could build it on a deck if you wanted. You'd want to keep the insects from getting in. You might put a mesh or a net on it, and you might want to build it so that later on you could cover it to the next level, which we can show you how to do that. So you use the right materials, and you can progressively close this room in. But start off with a deck and a cover. And then later on, you may be thinking, I want this to be an Airbnb.
Yeah. And then you can actually make some money off of it.
That's right. You can use it all that you want, and then just rent it out the times that you're going to be going on vacation. Maybe
Or a mother-in-law needs to move
Yeah.
in.
So if you think ahead, you can plan for either your ultimate backyard retreat and start off with a deck and a cover, or just a deck, then a cover, then close it in, then air condition it, then put a bar, put a restroom in it. But if you do it right, you've thought about these things and you plumbed for that anyway. Now, do you know what I mean when I say plumb for it? How far do you think you have to go? How much money do you think it costs to put the things in the foundation for a toilet, for example?
I have no idea.
Well, it is not very much to put that in the ground. The key is how much money will it take to finish it off later. So like maybe you have to run a trench all the way to the sewer, to the front side of the home, or something like that. But the good news is that you're going to save a lot of money if you're putting down a foundation, whether it's a deck or whether it's concrete. If you put that plumbing in now, you don't have to tear that back up later. You just stub it out right below the surface.
So you're really saving money.
Oh yeah, and if you never did it, you didn't spend much money. You may spend a few $100s to put that plumbing in there now, and then so later on when you want to spend the rest of the money to go ahead and connect it, it's already in your foundation. If you never use it, you can cover it up. It doesn't need to be shown. It doesn't have to be a hole in the ground, a hole in your slab. You can actually pour concrete over the top of it.
Oh, okay.
And then you just have it marked somewhere where the location is
So then you
on the
just chip
plans,
that
and then you
little
just
bit
chip
out.
that little bit out, right? So that's a good thing to do if you're thinking you're ever gonna want a restroom in there. Go ahead and put that plumbing in there now. It only costs you a few $100s to put that in there. And then later on, you decide when you're ready to make this thing the ultimate room, well, you have the opportunity for a lot less money. And so that's the thing I really like about these outdoor specialty rooms. They can be anything you want them to be. An entertainment area, a mother-in-law's quarters, a college student, casita,
Or even an office.
an office, thank you, yes, an outdoor office. It can be a retreat, it can be an Airbnb, it can combine for many of these uses, but you're gonna start off with a lower cost. And if you wanna go full blown on it, go ahead at the beginning, but most people are gonna say, let's get there gradually. But it's not going to work without professional designs. If you do it the wrong way, you're gonna wish that you had used a professional to design this. So we start off with all of our projects with good designs. We'll talk a little bit more about some of the options that we can have in an outdoor retreat after we mention our sponsor, Billy's Western Wear at billyswesternwear.com. My friends over there, David White and his family in Bernie, look them up. Tell them that I told you about them when you go to Billy's Western Wear in Kerrville or in Bernie. We'll be right back to the KM Builders Remodeling and Design Show.
The results are in, and the
I hate those commercials.
Me too.
I wanna go in there just to see what it looks like though, to see how much they're hyping it up.
It's small.
Compared to
Smaller
America's?
than America's Diamond. You know where it is, right?
Yeah, La Cantera.
Yeah, but that old bank that used to be there, yeah.
How many locations do they have?
That's it.
Man, they have loaded up the commercials.
Oh, I know.
Just like some of our competitors did when they went in business.
Yeah.
And then what happened? They overspent and couldn't deliver,
Mhm.
and they're gone.
Well, this is a huge chain, though.
I know.
They probably have their
They have
system
100
down, you know?
They have 100 commercials.
Oh, it is so irritating.
So,
I get so tired of hearing them.
and they all sound phony.
Oh, yes. The results are in. That's what they just said. But what was interesting was when they started kind of copying America's Diamond, like confusing people.
You think so?
Yeah.
Well, we've had the
Even
same thing
the-
happen with us. People trying to copy us.
Mm-hmm.
They say imitation is the greatest form of flattery.
Yep. It's
Well.
also the most irritating form of flattery.
I think you've said that several times, that it's the most irritating.
It is.
But it also, it's annoying to people and they get to see what people are really made out of.
Yep.
We've had a lot of people try to copy us and do things like us, but they're not consistent. They just do it if it works. If it doesn't, they stop it. And
Yeah.
nothing usually works right away anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes you can overdo what works too and just pay too much for what you're doing.
Yep.
Yeah, we are really much more consistent than that. We don't start something and then stop it. Speaking of starting something, we're gonna be starting a new marketing campaign on our Hardy Plank, Monday or Tuesday, right? Probably you think it'll be Tuesday?
Well, it should be Monday.
Well,
Bravo.
we've gotta do some editing on Monday because it hasn't been ready.
I know.
Is he watching?
And I don't know.
Then we're talking about you.
What it looks like now.
Checking it out.
Yes.
Is that how it starts off?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we didn't do the thing we said at the top there. Go pull it up again.
This is, I guess, the
Oh, yeah.
change.
Heard live every Saturday, but it didn't say KM Builders Remodeling and Design Show. See, it needs to be titled right there.
Okay.
It needs to say, listen in to the KM Builders Remodeling and Design Show. Heard live every Saturday at 2.
Okay.
I'd say listen in cursive and then KM Builders Remodeling and Design Show. And then I would just put live every Saturday at 2 and maybe a little bolder text. Let's see what it looks like. Go down. Ultimate siding, ultimate install. I like that.
Oh, he just copied it from her.
I like that.
Oh, yeah, it does.
Welcome back to the KM Builders Remodeling and Design Show. We're in our last segment, but you can still give us a call at 737-1200 if you like. We hope you're enjoying the show. We're here every Saturday to give you quality information about ideas in the remodeling world maybe something you haven't thought of before. We have probably, but if you've got a new idea, please share it with us too. Invite me out and I'll do you a free consultation. We'll explore your ideas just like the nice couples that I met yesterday. And we hope that they are able to do their projects in the near future with us. And we just explored, you know, a lot of surprises come in those consultations. Some things are positive surprises and some things are negative, but either way, people want to know the truth. And that's what we're going to give you. We're going to tell you what things really cost and how to prepare for it. And also, in most cases, when people say, I want this, and I say, well, that would cost this much, and they say, wow, I didn't expect that. So I say, but have you thought about doing it this way? And it would probably feel very similar, but these are the things you would gain out of doing it this way, and it would cost a lot less. I was showing them how you could get this for about $40,000 less.
Oh, wow.
And
what type of project was it?
Well, it was a room addition plus a big patio, and we showed how the room addition was being separated off because they weren't taking any walls down between the room addition and the house.
Mm-hmm.
So we were sitting in a very small little dining area, breakfast area, and I said, can you imagine sitting in this space right here that we're in with all walls enclosed? I said, how much, no, with all the walls enclosed, because it was an open breakfast area. And I said, but if you were to build walls around us right here, we would feel like claustrophobic right now. But the reason you don't is because there's no walls. It's open to the rest of the area. So we were explaining, I was showing them how if you take these walls down into the room addition, the room addition doesn't have to be as big because it's sharing space with the adjacent, with what's already here. Now the space we're sitting in that's close to where the room addition is going to be is going to feel a lot bigger, and the room addition is going to feel a lot bigger. For that same amount of area, for a smaller space, we can get you a bigger feel. And so that would save $20,000 on that, $20,000 on the patio. Before you know it, you've saved $40,000, $50,000.
And that feels good.
And that feels real good. And you still get your room addition.
Yeah.
But it is more expensive than you think, especially if you don't do it professionally designed.
Yeah.
That's the difference. And so we want to talk a little bit more about our topic before we run out of time, about these specialty rooms. They are really good ways to build a gradual investment in your home, make it more fun every year or two, doing something more exciting to that, and just making it an area that you're going to go out to all the time.
Mm-hmm.
From an air conditioning system, there's two types of air conditioning systems. One is the kind that you use in a house, and there's a couple of different versions of those. One of those is a mini split ductless system, which are extremely efficient and do not use as much electricity, so that you can hook them up a little less expensive.
And they're pretty quiet too,
Oh,
right?
very quiet, whisper quiet. They're not going to be adding sound to your backyard that you won't want to hear while it's keeping your little house cool.
Mm-hmm.
You'll want these in the rest of your home. But there's also an outdoor air conditioning system which does patios, and it's not the same system. This is a high pressure, high jetted system, a high powered jetted system that uses water, that atomizes this water at such high pressure, like 2,500 PSI, that it literally evaporates over your head and cools the air as it falls. And it drops the temperature in the patio 10 to 20 degrees.
Oh man, we need that.
Depending on the humidity. And so yeah, it's a great system to have, and that works for patios. It really pushes the air and the moisture over everything, but the moisture evaporates before it hits the furniture or you, so you don't have any beads of water on you like you do.
It's not like those misting systems.
No. And then to add even more comfort outdoors, you can do an outdoor mosquito misting system like we have at Mistaway.
Mm-hmm.
Mistaway Systems, if you'd like more information, contact KM Builders. We'll get you in touch with our friends at Mistaway. And so there's just a lot of things you can do outdoors. Big fans, definitely want to have big fans even if you have an AC system. But before you do the AC system, maybe the year before, you put some big fans in there. Mm-hmm. And they've got all different sizes these days, and they certainly do make a difference. That's one thing I recommend. Don't go cheap on fans. Put more. Put good lighting in there too. It's going to illuminate it in all types of atmospheres, whether it's wine drinking or full catering. You're going to want something that is just really sharp. And lighting is cheap, but it looks like $1 million. It really does show the money. You've got to have a good lighting system. So whether you want a she shed, a man cave, a little casita, a future B&B, Airbnb, these are things you can do in your backyard specialty room. You may want it to be a little cabana that opens up with a bar, and you close everything in, and everything is protected from the weather, but you open up these big glass overhead doors, and you've got this pool cabana.
It's like a pool house.
Yeah, and you know what I've also seen is, I mean, you don't need that only if you have a pool. You can do that for any backyard.
Yeah, that's true.
And you can also have a little tool shed on the back side of it too, and park your lawnmower in there. So there's going to be so many things we can do for you. If you have any ideas, you just don't know what to do with your backyard or any part of your home, we've got the ideas. We are a professional design build company. We have architectural designers, interior designers, cabinet designers, so give us a call. With our 40-person staff, we can help you. Look us up at kmbuilders.com or 680-5626. Again, look us up at kmbuilders.com. Thank you for viewing us on Instagram, Facebook, and
YouTube.
Listening live here on the radio and live at YouTube. Look us up. Thank you for listening to the KM Builders Remodeling and Design Show. And remember, you could have someone else remodel your home, but then you'd have to live in it.
The proceeding has been appealed.
Hi, this is